Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
But
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now.
All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And both Mike and I were kind of clearing our throats and doing that. He starts doing the me.
La 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 la.
Yeah, we had a brief conversation before we started about podcast business, and then and I'm like, I got to clear my throat, so I paused, and then he starts doing that shit, and he's like, he goes, well, guess I had to clear my throat too, because if anyone listened last week, also, last week was when I started off kind of like choked on my own spit, I think, right?
Yes, you did.
So,
that was last week. Yes.
yeah, these fucking weeks are flying, but in a good way, in an absolutely good way. You know, I'm in the Ozarks again, so I'm sitting out here. Not out here. I'm sitting here looking out again over like water and stuff like that. So it's quite lovely.
Mm.
And it's shit, man. I looked at the weather here like this week has been it was nice on like Monday, Tuesday in the 70s. I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Then it cooled off, and then God, it's supposed to be in like the fucking 80s tomorrow. Like
Nice.
tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm like, there's a couple of different like parts of there's a huge like state park in different areas, and I found this one trail online that it's a I'm new to all this hiking stuff. You know, first time I ever actually went hiking, except for fucking years ago. I took walks with people.
Right, when you're drunk and fucking they kicked you out of the party and you didn't have a ride.
No, I actually did. There are a ton of trails around Wisconsin. I've gone there like with Dawn, a couple other people that I was seeing at the time. You know, just nice places to take a walk and stuff like that. But you know, I don't know anything about there's these, they call them loop trails or one-way trails or this and that. A one-way trail is exactly what you think. It just goes and then stops and doesn't come back to the same place, which all the other ones, you know, kind of, they go around in a big circle.
Sure.
This one that I saw that I went past on the way back from the one I went to last weekend, it's no shit. It's 14 miles. Okay. So I pulled into this little lot and I was just looking at it, you know, for this coming weekend. One's like 7 miles, one's like fucking 14. And I mean, a 14-mile trail like that, they're like, it's like 14 hours. And I'm like, well, what the fuck do these people fucking do? You know, I mean, I suppose you could camp in
crawling. No, man. I mean, you walk about 4 miles an hour. So I don't know where. Yeah, not 1 mile an hour.
Well, and the other thing too is that I suppose it depends, and I don't know. Again, this goes back to what I said to begin with. I'm not like this big hiker or anything like that. So the trail that I went on, which is in the same one I went on in September, it's about 1.5 miles, and they say it takes you about an hour. Okay, because it's not like you're walking straight down a street. You know, you're walking along and up and down and little inclines, nothing real big, but you know, you're in an area where if you walk too hard to the left, you're going to fall. I mean, not down like a cliff, but you know, probably a good 20, 30 feet. Nothing that my 55-year-old body would want to do. Okay.
Exactly.
So maybe that's the thing with the terrain and whatever, but that one's got like, apparently like this waterfall but I don't know how many fucking miles it is. Is it 1 mile in? Is it 7 miles in? So I'm like, I'm not going to do that one. I'll go on the other one. But it goes along apparently part of one of the lakes, and it's a one-way thing, but apparently very, very scenic. So I don't know. I'm all about this stuff now. Getting out and seeing some fucking nature.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I enjoy it. I enjoy getting out and stuff. It's fucking beautiful. So
absolutely. Right. Well, it's cloudy and rainy and windy as fuck here today, so I hope we don't lose power here.
right. Oh yeah. And speaking of that, I almost forgot to pause. Hang on. You can keep talking, but I'm.
All right. Well, I keep talking, but yeah, we're getting 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So, yeah.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, shit's blowing all over the place. So again, I'm hoping Cleveland Public Power maintains their shit for at least an hour and a half.
Right. After that, fuck everyone, right?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to have lights and heat, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, seriously, it was rainy for a couple of days, and it poured like a motherfucker for the last 2 days, off and on. Not just like light rain; it fucking poured. And I'm like, wow, that's even beautiful. But it was nice
from
today.
inside, right?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. But yeah, I got a couple of things about just I don't want to say, well, I suppose incidents. There's a couple of items I want to talk to about the trip, so far. But I think, as you said, you didn't have a reading, but you were going to open up the book and see where we land, right?
We are. We are. We're
All
going
right.
to flip. Let's see here. Let's go
Spin the
past
wheel.
that. All right, let's get ready for tomorrow too.
All right.
I don't know, maybe. Here, let's try this. Yeah. How about let's see. All right, May 24th. What the hell? Let yourself never wander too far from that which you love. It is your source of strength. An Alcoholics Anonymous member said that. As addicts, we loved illusions while rejecting love of humanity and spirit. We claimed to love good things, but our actions were not actions of love. In recovery, love is always a verb. We seek authentic love through our actions, love that heals wounds and brings us close to others. This love brings smiles and tears of gratitude and leaves us knowing we are never alone. If we look closely, we can see a glimmer of the divine in such love. It sees others as spirit. It works to bring out the best in others, not the worst. The man who spoke the above quotation has been in recovery for over 30 years. He says his long-term relationship with recovery has taught him how to have other long-term relationships. This year, he celebrated his 25th wedding anniversary. His gratitude is enormous for recovery's lessons of love. Prayer for the day. Higher power, you have given me spiritual principles. As I put them into action, the love they hold is released. Help me to be a person of loving action. Hey, today's action. Today, I will make a list of all the wonderful relationships that recovery has given to me. I will try to see each as a gift of love.
Nice. So that was a whole lot about love.
It was.
Hang on, I'll just make one more quick note, or this will be like a half note. It won't. I can't read my handwriting anyhow. As I'm
half
doing
note,
all this
quarter note, eighth note.
Yes, exactly. Some sort of fucking note.
Okay.
But yeah, whole lot about love. Now that reminded me of, and I guess remind our the listening folks if you got some people that haven't been around for a minute. So you used love in a particular way when you first got sober, and I think you still do. Am I correct on that?
It's certainly part of it. Yeah. Okay. So, well, how far back do we want to go?
In the beginning.
Right. In the beginning, there was no. Right. Well, as I've mentioned once or twice on here, I'm an atheist, still an atheist. And the higher power part of this program, which it is power greater than yourself, scared the shit out of me. And very early on in recovery, I, this is a real original thought, but, God is love, love is God, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was my first, and entrance into a power greater than myself. It was the first, and this was I don't know, month and a half, maybe 2 months into being sober at the Keating Center. Yeah, I just had that epiphany of shit, man. Love is a power greater than myself.
Right.
That my granddaughter at the time just turned 2, and this little girl looking at me with love in her eyes. She didn't know what I fucking was, and yet she still, you know, or she did or whatever, but she still looked at me with that look of love in her eyes, and I went, well, fuck, there's a power greater than me.
Right.
And just all the goddamn rock and roll songs over the years, all you need is love, and love is a drug for me, and many more, many more. What's the Huey Lewis one? The Power of Love. Yes.
Right.
Right. Right. All those, and there's a million of them, and I could sit here and list them all, but I won't, because I don't want people turning off their devices, going, Jesus Christ, man. Oh wow.
Yeah, we
So
get it.
anyway, right. So yes, love was my first, and in reading the very godly 24-hour book. Originally, I substituted the word love for God in all the readings, and that worked pretty damn well. Yeah, so that's kind of the roundabout way of saying yes. Love was kind of my first power greater than myself, and it still is. Whenever I lead, I'll talk about my power is greater than myself in my life, many of them, and you don't need to know what they are, but you just need to know it's not me.
Right. And I just think that the reason I bring that up, and I know you've talked about it, and you probably feel like endlessly on here, but I think that we always talk about things that have worth, and I think that has a lot of
Right.
worth, because
Yeah.
a lot of people struggled with, including me. I mean, I struggled with the whole higher power thing, and you made it something that was something so simple, and it's tangible and it's understandable to anyone. Not that anyone has to choose that, but the
No.
point is that whatever is that, it could be the most simplistic thing. It doesn't have to be a complicated thing. Just like you said, there are
Kind of
powers
works out
greater.
better if it's a simple thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
as it turns out, imagine that, right? But yeah, it's one of those things where it doesn't. The point is, it doesn't matter what it is. We have to have, we need to acquire or believe in or have a power greater than ourselves, and that's it. It
Right.
doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Rely on. Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's a better word than whatever I just said. You know what is funny? I'm like, I was going to say better word that I don't even know what I just said. Remember, he's never done. He just keeps on talking and doesn't know
That's
what
right.
he says. So can you do me a favor? Do you still have your book out? Can you read that opening
I do.
quote again? Because
The opening
was,
quote, sure.
yeah,
Let yourself never wander too far from that which you love. It is your source of strength.
right. And I like that. And I was about to write that down. I'm like, there's no fucking way I can write that all down.
Right.
But I mean, just
Thankfully,
in
it's already written down for us in this book right here.
right, yeah, by one of us sober dudes too. So, that, I mean, that's almost, it made me feel like, wow, that's what a good description of what happens to, if not all of us alcoholics and drug addicts, but most of us at least. We
Oh,
were
yeah.
drawn away from those and the things that we love through through our own addiction.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I don't know, I'm not one of those people like to have awe moments and stuff like that. It wasn't really that. It was just kind of like, I'm like, holy shit, that's even though I've read that before, I get it. I remember the 25-year wedding relationship or
Sure.
anniversary and all that stuff, but man, I just didn't remember that that reading, that quote, So
Yeah.
but
And
I
I
really
think
like it.
and I think we've talked about plenty of times, the phrase "to thine own self be true," that
Right.
Shakespeare quote, since we learned that on here. Right. I think that's a far more applicable use of "to thine own self be true," the things that you love, the things that you truly care about, more than to your own self being true to that person that you are. Because we've talked about it on here plenty of times. Person that I am is a liar, cheat, and a thief. I
Right.
don't want to be true to that. I want to be true to something better than that. And I think being true to the things that you truly care about, the things that you love, is a far better way to do that.
Right. Yeah, and it just I don't know. It says that quote just kind of hit me, and I was like, "Damn, that's a good
Yeah,
one." that's a,
cool.
damn, that's a good one. And this was
That's a good
again
one.
fucking random. You just literally just
Hmm.
flipped open the book and came across some random reading, which I think is fun.
Yeah.
Um, so it talked about a couple of notes I wrote down. Not actions of love, obviously talking about how we were acting.
Hmm.
I wrote down never alone. I think it might have been I forget where that was towards the beginning. Bringing out the best in
Hmm.
others. Oh, it was all about talking about love. Obviously, we're never alone if we have love. Bringing out the
Hmm.
best in others, better relationships, and then the end part, obviously listing a list of wonderful relationships. But the thing of it is too, and we've talked about it specifically, that when we get better, it just seems like everyone else gets better, right? So
Right.
that's the bringing out the best. The way that I looked at it is like that's the bringing out the best in others, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the line I really like is in recovery, love is always a verb,
Right,
which, I mean, again, program of action, right? Verb is an action word, all the time we were told, gratitude is an action,
right.
love is an action. We can have these feelings and whatever and thoughts and beliefs but if we don't put them into action, then they're fucking worthless.
Right. Well, yeah, and that is the key. It's like apologizing to somebody. I mean,
Mhm.
don't apologize for the action, or don't apologize for the thing that you did.
Mhm.
Change the behavior. And
Yep.
same deal. I mean, it's don't say how grateful you are. Show,
Mhm.
do something.
Mhm.
And the same deal. I mean, I tell there's and I know I've talked about it before, but it's been God probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I had this and I'll call it an epiphany or just a mindful moment or whatever it was, but
Mhm.
I figured out that I can love on different levels. A
Mm.
difference
Right.
between, I mean, there's true love and romantic love, and obviously being in love, that's one thing, but not love doesn't have to be that extreme. You can have the love of
Mhm.
a really good friend, a good
Mhm.
relationship, another man in your life, a
Sure.
brother, a sister. I love my kids differently than I love you versus my sister
Right.
and that sort of thing. But
Mhm.
um, and there's a lot of friends of mine that I have a true feeling of love for, but
Sure.
it's not romantic. I've got a lot of you and I
Of
have got
course
a
not.
ton of fucking female friends, and there's a ton of
Mhm.
them that I would say I love you, but I'm like, hey, I love you, baby.
Right. 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 But yes, well, yeah, we've talked about the base instincts and
Right.
right. Yes, which again is growth and growing up, and for this sober but not mature podcast, a maturing. Yes, we can
Right.
we can truly love someone of the opposite sex, and not, you know, mostly not want to get in their pants.
Right. And there's a point even with a friend, just for me to say I love you, but what would I do for that person? How do I show it? Am
Right.
I kind to them? Do I show up for that person? And those sort
Hmm.
of things. Do I if the person, either whether they do something nice for me, am I willing to do something nice for them? That's all that who we become and all those sort of things. And that comes out in again bringing out the best in others because I probably have a ton of stories about I'd say Dawn specifically,
Hmm.
because I mean, she and I had she probably saw the worst of me, but not at the end. I guess she wasn't there for
Hmm.
the end part, but
Right. Yeah. She got the fuck out before that happened.
yeah, exactly. Which is a really good thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Right. Yeah.
she
Well, I'm sure she saw it coming. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, man.
no, no, I can take it because you're 100% true, and
Right.
I'll never disagree with you on that.
Hmm.
But after I got sober and stuff, and we're this relationship and stuff like that between us is rebuilding. I could see it every once in a while. She would say something like, "Oh, by the way,
Hmm.
that this is going to happen," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay." And she's sitting there and almost mentally sitting there with her hands up and their fists made, going, "Okay, I'm ready for you, motherfucker. You're gonna start fighting me,
Right.
aren't you?" And then I
Mm-hmm.
just say, "Okay," and she's like, "Oh, okay."
Okay. Good.
And because so I was helping. I mean, really, in a case like that, not that I'm saying I didn't make Dawn a better person, but I allowed her to
Mm-hmm.
act more human around me because I was more
Mm.
human around her. And think about
Right.
that, all the people we used to piss off that,
Mm-hmm.
literally, not that we made them act a certain way, but they acted out of character
Yeah.
because
Well,
they were
yeah.
reacting. You know,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we did. We made them, or make them walk on eggshells, or
right,
right. Exactly. Yes, we made them worse people because they had to be around us.
right.
Yeah. Yippee. It's a fucked way to live, man.
Yeah, it really is. And for anyone out there that's listening to us that's new, I mean, both Mike and I were, I'd say, fortunate, but fortunate in the fact that we were willing to do the work to mend these relationships. But I mean, our
Mm-hmm.
relationships came back into play. I mean, my relationship with my daughter took a couple of years, a few years, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it was. But relatively speaking, these things came back into play. But it does take time, and it takes humility, and it takes just shutting your fucking mouth every once in a while, more times than you would.
Absolutely.
and
Mm-hmm.
and not saying what's on your mind, because the other person, they don't know that you're changing, so they're ready to
Mm-hmm.
react, and if they do, you just got to fucking take it.
Yep.
Which is painful at times, but you know what, the end result is shit. I mean, once again, almost 14 years down the road, we talked about this stuff, and who do we have resentments again? No one. Who do we have issues with in our life? No one that we know about. If
Mm-hmm.
someone's got a problem with us, that's their fucking problem if they don't tell us about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's to say it's a better way to live is an understatement, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So live with some love.
Yeah, you were cutting out a little bit. You're kind of. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, just for a minute there when you said something about living for some love, you cut out for a second, but it's okay. It happens. We're all,
Uh-huh.
we're ready for this technology shit, but we're just gonna keep working through because it seems to happen bits and pieces, as everyone knows, and then we start up a new session, we get another 30 to 40 minutes out of this, and then we're good. So,
Yep.
but yeah, but other than that, I mean, obviously, I just wrote down a list of wonderful relationships, and I think, I mean, all of them. I mean, I don't have any bad relationships, these days. I don't think you do either, right?
No, not from my side of things. Nope.
Right.
There's a few people out there that, have problems of their own. And that comes down to the serenity prayer, man. Wisdom to know the fucking difference.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too, that goes back to our side of the street. Just because somebody has a
Yep.
fucking problem with us, even if we do know, we can't necessarily. Well, we can't fix it. We can do whatever we can, clean up our shit, try to make the effort, right? Put
Mm-hmm.
out the hand, try to help, do whatever it is. But if the person is lifting up the peace sign to us with only the one finger,
Mm-hmm.
the fuck can we do? Nothing. Walk away. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My side of the street's clean, and I really hope that they clean up theirs.
Right. And like I said, it's a cliche statement sometimes, but man, it's a lot better way to live, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I lay my head down at night and I go to sleep.
Yeah, and you know what? I do. I feel for people. I was going to say feel bad, but how can I feel bad for somebody, even if it's somebody I know? I feel for people that have sleep problems because I don't get it. And the only time that literally, I think the only time that I've ever had since I've been sober that I've had trouble sleeping is when it's for a good reason. I'm excited about something that's happening the next
Hmm.
day, where I got good shit
Right.
rolling around in my head. The bad shit
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to, 10 step and put aside. I almost said
Mm-hmm.
bury, but I'm not burying it. I'm just putting it
Mm-mm.
over in this
No.
cabinet over here
Right.
until the next day because I need to get some fucking sleep. But
Yeah. And having the faith that you're doing the right thing and it is going to work out eventually, even if you can't fucking see what the solution is yet. That's okay too.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Fuck, man. I'm powerless, and yes, it is an issue, but it's gonna be okay one way or another.
Right.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
fucking great.
It's and that is the, that's like the old saying, the only thing we know is that, the only thing we know about life is it goes on, one way or the other, it's going to fucking work itself out, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Hmm.
So anything else about the reading? I'm going to give you a good kudos on that one for the, even though it
Yeah.
was a
For
shot.
just flipping the page, right?
I mean, seriously, I mean, that what did we say? Was your favorite thing about, when we started this thing, man,
Hmm.
shooting our wad into the wind. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's kind of what makes this thing so much fun, and dare I say mildly successful, at least to maybe
Hmm.
this 70 or 80 people a week that listen to it. Oh, I got to tell you this, and I should look at the. Hang on
Yeah.
one second. So we're not about stats and stuff like this, but I'm over these last couple of weeks, I've been just kind of fucking blown away on this. Let me see if I can get into this and actually see it from here. Our audience. This is so fuck it. This is all time. Okay, so in the last 30 days, the majority of the, we've been having more dudes are listening than women. But over the
Uh-huh.
last like 30 days or something like that, and it's been like this over the last couple of months, but it's like 75%. And then like a week ago, 1 week, it was like fucking 93% were dudes. And I'm like,
Mm.
where all the ladies at? But I mean, and then we're still we're crushing it on the age group of 35 to 44. That's
Wow.
the age group that for whatever reason. Again,
Hmm.
gentlemen, I have no fucking idea where you came from, you 35 to 45 or 44-year-olds.
Hmm.
But go find some fucking women to bring in here. And I'm not saying that for any other reason, but let's spread this audience out a little bit. We're
Yeah.
we have our ups and downs, and we've had a stable audience for. I mean, we've been doing this for 2 years now. We've had a stable
Right.
audience for probably a year solid,
Hmm.
if not a year
Hmm.
plus. So there's always a certain number of people that are going to listen. I get it. It's dropped a little bit, not a big deal. It comes and goes, but yeah, shit, the split. And it's so fucking weird because again, Instagram still 60 some percent, 63, 65% of our followers on Instagram are women
Hmm.
in the same age group. Okay.
Right.
So, gentlemen, I don't know, tell a fucking friend.
Right.
That's it. So I don't know.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm not gonna beg you to have people listen, but hey, let's even this shit out, help us grow a little bit if you do it that way. So
We would appreciate it.
we would. And thank you kindly in advance for your cooperation.
Hmm.
So nothing more about the reading? All good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. So before I ramble about this trip thing, the eclipse. You
Mm,
obviously the eclipse happened this week, so you were able to
it
see it.
did.
You seem to be sort of amazed by this event, if I'm not wrong.
It was pretty damn cool. Right. Yeah. I mean, well, here in Cleveland, we were in the path of totality, so we got the full deal. Yeah, I was working that day, and I yeah, I happened to be delivering at a Best Buy distribution center, and I timed it out where I had, yeah, I pulled into the back of the place. It was there was like, well, nobody around, and I parked my truck and got out and watched it by myself, and yeah, it was pretty damn cool. I had some glasses. Thank you, City of Cleveland. Uh, Chris, they handed them out at work at City Hall, so I
Nice.
had a nice pair of glasses, and yeah, took a few pictures with my phone, and yeah, it was pretty damn amazing. The natural wonder. Fuck, look at that moon in the way of the sun.
So, quick question, and again, like you just said, you were in the path of that total or that
Hmm.
totality thing, and
Yeah.
Kimmy and Brian. I don't know if you saw on Facebook. Brian got a couple of really fucking amazing pictures too, and
Hmm.
I saw yours. But did it go dark
Oh
completely?
yeah.
Okay,
No, completely.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, to the point where, I mean, you could look. I mean, I took the glasses off. You look square at the sun. It was just a little ring. That's all you could see, and you could look directly at it. yeah. It got dark. Oh, the lights came on at the distribution center because they're all light sensitive. So yeah, all the lights in the parking lot came on.
Right.
It was cool. Totally pitch
Yeah,
black.
and I looked at it. I don't know if it was before I came down here or probably last weekend, probably Saturday. Well, probably Sunday when I was sitting around and just
Mm-hmm.
wondering how it was going to be where I am. Which, and
Right.
they're like, oh, if you really want to see it, you want to go a couple hours south, blah blah blah. And of course, I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
fucking working, I can't. So, and I set up my desk and stuff. So I'm literally the patio and stuff is to my left, and I'm sitting right next to
Mm-hmm.
it. So I mean, it was Monday. It was nice. I mean, it was 70 degrees, I think, and sunny. And
Mm-hmm.
as it
Mm-hmm.
gets closer and stuff like that, I kind of looking outside, and the sun is at that time of day is like behind me, or
Mm-hmm.
above or behind me a little bit where the awning and stuff is. So I couldn't actually see the sun, and
Right.
it got like a little bit overcast. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking, and I'm on the phone, and I'm looking outside. I'm like, I'm like, just overcast. I mean,
Right.
that's all it looked like.
Except it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it
Except it
was
wasn't.
right, like it was just cloud cover. Then
Yeah.
I looked on my phone. I like looked it up real quick because I paused what I was doing, and I'm like, when's the eclipse happening? It's like it's happening now. I'm like, fuck,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look like shit. Then it got sunny again. So
Yeah.
so
Right.
no darkness or anything like that. But I mean, literally, where I am in Osage Beach,
Mm-hmm.
was not in directly in the path.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's about what I experienced. 2017.
right,
I was down by Dayton. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looked like it was, the light got diffused and it would look like clouds, like it was overcast.
right.
But it wasn't. There were no clouds. It was just the sun being partially blocked. But yeah, here it was totally fucking blocked.
Yeah, see now that would have been cool. I was just kind of like because I was in actually I was in Milwaukee in 2017. I remember where I was working,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like we all walked outside, and it's like it was overcast. It was overcast and cloudy that day,
Mm-hmm.
so you got nothing. I mean, there was no
Right.
nothing at all that we saw. And then years ago, I think it would have been probably late '90s. I was working for a company on the northwest side of Milwaukee, and we did the whole. I don't think we had the glasses. We did the paper plate thing, whatever. But it got
Mm.
almost like goldish. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
It got overcast to that point, but same deal, not total darkness. So
Right.
it'd be kind of cool. But I mean, I think the next one is what 24 years from now.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see, do the math. No, I I don't think I'm going to see that one. Who knows? Who knows?
Right.
If I am
You're
somebody,
sitting in a chair with wheels on it.
yeah, somebody can fucking wheel my ass outside with my space glasses on, and I'll take a look at it then. So as I'm shitting myself, I'll watch the eclipse.
Yeah.
But so the other thing too is that what was funny is that so same deal. I mean, I'm at the same place I was last time, and it's a condo community here, and it's right on the
Mm-hmm.
water, and then they got the boat launch or the docks and all that stuff out there. And I'm sure during the summer, again, like I said before, this whole area has got to be just one big fucking party.
Right.
But I mean, during the day and stuff like that here, I mean, it's quietish. There'll be some people out here and there when it was nice. But on Monday, there was like this whole group of people. They must have taken either they're retiree people, they were down here, whatever. They were having their little party down there, listening to fucking classic rock. You can tell they're drinking, whatever. Then I
Mm-hmm.
hear this same thing, the shit going on to the right of me. It was this literally like this whole fucking party atmosphere. I mean, nothing really going on, but I'm just like, okay, so we're having an eclipse party. Okay, I got you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it was just it was odd to me, but even at the time I was drinking. No, I wasn't. 2017 I wasn't, but back in the 90s I was. I don't remember that
Mm-hmm.
being like, hey man, it's the eclipse, let's party.
Right.
I don't
Well,
we didn't need that.
why would
Yeah,
exactly?
yeah,
Who didn't need that excuse? And it's like St. Patrick's Day or New Year's Eve.
right,
I'm drinking anyway.
right.
Get the fuck out of my way. Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it was weird. And the same thing, not it had nothing to do with, everyone out there knows if you listen for a minute, neither one of us believe in triggers, but again, it's in the 70s. I'm in this vacationy type of spot, and all these people kind of
Mm-hmm.
this party mode. And the only thing that it does, it didn't. Well, first of all, I'm working. That's number one.
Right.
But on top of that is just that, that it's almost this physical feeling of remembering, if that makes any sense. So it's almost
Sure.
like, that I feel like I was in this atmosphere, but I felt the same way at Founders Day the first time I went there,
Right.
but you know what I mean? And same thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't triggered or anything like that. It
Mhm.
just it's a great example of the place, and there's shit going on, and it reminds me of, and whatever. Does not make me want to drink, not at all, not even a
Mm-mm.
little fucking bit. But again, you just
Right.
get these old, it's like, okay, I remember what this feels like. I remember what I
Uh-huh.
used to do on days like this. And
Right.
I would be like, it would have been so stupid in my mind. We're going to party for the eclipse in my head. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wait, there's booze involved, right? Count me in.
Yeah. Right.
And again, that could have been a random Saturday or a normal Tuesday. It didn't fucking matter. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to be a fucking eclipse, but we talked about that plenty. So, but yeah, I if I would have been able to see like total fucking darkness, I would have been like you said, that fucking moon blocking that fucking
Yeah.
sun.
Yep.
Because I'm seeing the pictures and I'm like, shit. I'm like, it looks like it got all fucking dark, which clearly it did.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to talk about
It did. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty damn amazing. Glad I was sober and able to experience it. It was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, and same thing we talked about, this nature shit, and like I said to begin with, I am not well, first of all, I'm not a hiking person. I never thought I'd be. I mean, I guess I am now, right? I've been I've
I
been
guess
on
so.
trails
Right.
enough, where I guess I'm a hiker now, but I guess I am that guy. But I don't. I'm not going to buy like a special outfit. I bought shoes just so I don't fucking kill myself. I bought, shoes with
Hmm.
certain they're comfortable so I don't twist an ankle and that sort of thing and whatever. But I mean, I'm not
That's
gonna
how it starts, man.
no, I am way too even when I used to golf, the only thing I ever bought is, some places you couldn't wear shorts, so I had, khakis that I could wear. And then the only other thing was you had to have a collared shirt. So it's a fucking polo shirt, that I would wear any other place. Never did any fucking
Hmm.
golf gear or anything like that. I wasn't that guy, and I'm not going to do that hiking either. But it's just a matter of going out there, and it's so fucking peaceful. That's number one. And then I don't know what I'm going to see, but it's all fucking cool, and I just want to go and fucking
Right.
look at things, and it amazes me. Which who the fuck are we now, right?
I
Not
don't know,
complaining,
man.
not
Right.
complaining
Well,
at
you
all,
know,
but it
didn't
just
did, did
I don't know.
right. Yeah, didn't expect yourself to be sober either. So, there you go. Now you're a hiker. You're gonna get your stick and you're gonna get some leader hosing.
See, again, I'm not going to do any of that. The only thing I bought shoes and I bought wool socks. Then they're either like the summer ones or shorter ones, or I got regular ones because it's just. I mean, I needed comfortable. My feet get again. It goes into a bunch of different things. I've had problems with feet and my knees when I was a kid, the whole bit. But so I wanted comfortable shoes and comfortable socks. So that's the only thing. I'm not buying fucking lederhosen. I don't need a stick. I don't need a walking stick or anything like that, but it's the nature shit, So anyhow, I
Hmm.
enjoy nature. That's the bottom line. But all right, so we done talking about eclipsing and hiking and lederhosen. Apparently.
I suppose.
All right, so one real quick thing, and I guess we're probably a few minutes away. We're from taking a break, but so I was listening to a podcast. I don't know when, probably on the drive down here or whatever it was, and one of this chick that that was being just telling her story. I was going to say interview, but telling her story, she said that she was always looking while she was drinking. She was always looking for the third door, and I've never heard that before. That's why I wrote it down. So one door is sobriety, one door is drinking and she's looking for the third door, kind of like I'm guessing, it's kind of like controlling your drinking, but I've never heard anyone put it that way. And have you ever heard that before? The third door?
No, I've heard of the third location. That's when things go really bad. But no, but I like that. That's interesting. Hey, yeah, right. I don't want to be sober. I don't want to be this fucking mess, drunk, miserable son of a bitch. I want that third door. But yeah, unfortunately, that third door does not exist, Monty.
Right. Again, all the different, because I've listened now, I don't know, hours and fucking, I don't know, what seems like hundreds of different podcast episodes now over the last couple of years. And she said that, I'm like, that's fucking cool. So I'm like, always looking for the third door. Because I get it. As soon as she said it, I knew exactly what she was talking about. I had never heard
Right.
anyone, put it in those words before. But, same thing as anything else. I mean, I suppose that's why we keep going to meetings. We keep listening to stories. Every once in a while, we hear some shit, right?
Absolutely. More will be revealed, not more might be revealed, or maybe something else will happen. More will be revealed.
Right. And it's really fucking weird. And it didn't, I mean, I know obviously it's getting close to our anniversaries, but for work and stuff like that, when we make phone calls, we're usually kicking them ahead for a week. It's this rotation, So yesterday, it's like every time I'm kicking a call forward, I'm like, April 18th. Ooh, April 18th. Ooh, April 18th. and I mean, I'm making anywhere between, 75 to 100 calls a day. So yeah, that was me yesterday. Every fucking time I'm looking at it, I'm just seeing this fucking date. For everyone out there, that's my anniversary date, by the way. So yeah, it was a week from it's a week from yesterday. But yesterday, April 11th, which I never forget, but I always set a reminder, is Kimmy and Brian's when they first got together, not married, but so they've been together, and I keep forgetting, I think 12 years, because I think they're, we're coming up on 14, wow. And they're, I think, 2 years behind us. They've been friends for fucking
seems
ever.
About right.
Yeah, but
right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's getting close to the point. I don't know. I said it before. I think we said it before. We enjoy anniversaries, especially our own. Kind of self-centered still, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's a fucking accomplishment, man.
Right.
It's I'm not false pride. I am proud though. I've done the fucking work and made it this far. Yes, I am proud of that.
Well, and that's why too, and I know we've talked about it on here, but when people say that time doesn't matter, and I don't understand why people count time. I mean, seriously, it's so hard for me not to say, you know what, fuck you. I mean, seriously, fuck
right.
you. Because I mean, and I try to give everyone credit too. You've done the work. Be proud of your time, whether it's 3 days or 30 days or 30 fucking years. Everyone, you can't get the day back. You fuck up one day to the point where you do the big fuck up. Then you and I, are of the belief that you start over. You all those days again. You got to start the clock over again. So fuck that. Time matters.
Absolutely.
Quality of time. Yes, you and I believe in that. Quality of time.
Yes.
But the days matter. So the days don't matter. Fuck off. Fuck off. But I think on that note, why don't we take a break? What do you say? I think we've stretched this long enough, and we could take a break, right?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a little bit of time here and have a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
So
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can
Right.
access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. And is that, I was just thinking about it, is that like the band? Are we like the band coming back from a break, from the drummers out there doing the drum solo, and we did the wardrobe change and maybe got blown backstage or something? I mean,
right. Did a few lines of Coke and, chugged down half a bottle of Jack, and now we're back to rock you off.
We're going to rock you off.
Right.
Yay. I don't know. Yeah, just I'm like, get back in here, and I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like halfway refreshed for a minute. I walked outside. Walked outside for a second. Got a little refill of coffee, and then Mike's coming back in, and his camera's on for a minute, and I'm like, oh, you look thrilled.
Yeah.
He just had literally the most disinterested look on his face as he was kind of logging himself back in, because well, I know we're different in a lot of fucking ways than other podcasts, and and I'm happy about that. I don't want to be like, I have a lot of respect for, because we have friends that do podcasts and stuff like that. I love what a lot of these people do, and I have respect for them, but I have no desire to, and I know Mike doesn't either. We have no desire to be like any other podcast, but everyone else keeps their video on. We don't, because we were told that it can draw down on the bandwidth, which obviously with technology issues that we have would make it worse. But we've had one or two guests who are like, well, this is kind of weird. I'm used to like being able to see people. Like, yeah, we don't do that.
Nope. It's like real radio.
Right. You're like, yeah, we don't do that. We just don't do that. Like, oh, okay. And then for us being on somebody else's podcast when we're on video, I feel like I'm in school just kind of sitting there. It's like, I'm like, I got to sit straight. My nose itches. I don't want to somebody think I'm picking my nose. Then I'm like, God, do I have to pick my nose?
So you're saying you overthink things?
Gosh, could I? Do I?
Is it possible?
Let me think about that for a minute.
Right. Let me overthink that for a minute.
Right. Yeah. Let me overthink this for a minute. Okay. Enough of this shit. So you want to hear about my couple of things with my trip so far?
No.
Well, I kind of want to tell you. May I tell you a couple of things about my trip? I think.
Oh, yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. You know what? The fact your honesty was, I appreciate that. It kind of took the wind out of my sail there for a minute, but
it's not about me, man. Do what you got to do.
See, that's normally
I'm here
what you
for
say,
you, man.
That's normally what you say versus just no. I don't want to hear about that. Oh,
nope.
Okay.
Right. But I know I will anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got time to fill. So this is kind of the point of a podcast. So fuck you.
All right.
You'll understand when you have more time that we need to talk about these things.
There it is.
It's fucking teed up. I couldn't help myself. Okay, anyhow, enough of that shit. So I left it. I like 7 in the morning, and I got up, ungodly early because I still wanted to do my stuff, had to pack up my stuff, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured, I want to get down here, and I did. I got down here a little bit before 3, 2:30 or something like that. I think when I texted all you guys, and
Right.
I had time, so I went to Aldi because I had to go shopping anyhow. So a couple of days before I came down here, because I knew they had a grill, and I'm like, okay, if it's nice out, even if it isn't, I'm gonna fucking grill every night. Then I don't have to. There's no dishwasher here. So like I don't want to wash that at George Foreman every night if I don't have to. But so I sent the lady a message, the host here.
Maybe
I said,
George
hey,
wants you to wash him.
he probably does with his removable plates.
Wash
Um,
me.
wash me. Come on, you want to. Get this glaze off of me. Wash me.
Mm.
It's kind of baked on too.
Well, of course.
Well, of course it is. So so I messaged her, and I knew it was propane grill and all that stuff, and I said, so, because I didn't want to have to buy propane, just one of those, so I just wanted to make sure, if it's okay to use the grill, if there's, if it runs out of propane, where would I buy more, type of thing, hoping
Mhm.
she's going to say there's plenty, don't worry, there's an extra one here. And she's like, I'm glad you messaged me, because she said as of the end of March, there's an ordinance that was passed in this county, which is normal in a lot of places now.
Mhm.
No propane grills, no propane anything on in a condo, apartment, anything like that. Multi-family buildings, you can't have propane grills or anything like that
Hmm.
anymore. So she's like, we need to take that out of there. But she said, we're buying an electric grill. We'll have it replaced, or should have it replaced by the time you check in. Cool. So I get here, I walk in, I set down my bag, I open up the door, I immediately beeline towards the balcony or the patio, and I look and I'm like, fuck it, it's still here. So I message her, I'm like, hey, you mentioned this, am I still allowed to use this or no?
Mhm.
She's like, don't worry about it. Somebody will. My family is in town. I'm out of town, but if you be around tomorrow, even if you're not, you're on the first floor. We have a grill. They're just gonna switch it out. Cool, not a problem. I cooked normally, with whatever I had, my George Foreman on Saturday, and then they had it replaced on Sundays. Perfect. It works perfectly fine. So that's cool. So
Well,
I'm
not if
gonna.
you're Hank Hill, it's not.
It's. I know. But
A man wept in Texas today.
right. But hey, it is what it is. I want to cook food outside on a grill-ish thing, and this is what I'm allowed to use. So it works.
All right.
So Saturday, I'm gonna get all my shit in here. It took me, getting out. You know how much shit I have with now, so I'll bring all my shit in
Mhm.
here. And they had a Keurig, and I brought along all this extra K cups and whatever. So I went to make a cup of coffee, and it was one of the single ones where you just put like a certain number of ounces of water. It doesn't have a reservoir. Make the cup. Gone. I've used them before. It's not hard.
Mhm.
So I do that. I brew it, and it does this little. I mean, like, I don't know what, 4 ounces out of what should have been 12, or 10. So I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, I wonder if some of it does go to reservoir. So I'll put some more water in there, put a little bit more water in, try to brew it again, and it just comes right out the bottom. I mean, not even through the K cup. And I'm like, so I'm wondering if the K cup is plugged up. So I put another clean, fresh K cup in there, do it. Fucking water spits out of the bottom. I'm like, are you motherfucking kidding me?
Mm.
Because I drink coffee. I think everyone knows that. And I'm like, do I gotta buy a fucking coffee pot now? And I'm like,
Mm.
it's okay, not a big deal.
I need
So
my dope, man.
so I messaged her. I said, just so you know, I said, this is what happened. I cleaned it all up. I put it under the counter, under where it was. But I said, just so you're aware, I just want to message you right away. I don't care. I'm not complaining. But just
Right.
so you know, I didn't break it. It did this.
Right.
She's like, just did you do this and do that? I said, I did. One of those almost elementary things. Are you
Mhm.
stupid, or did you do the
Right.
right thing?
Right.
But
You
she was
some kind of a moron.
she was very kind, and I said, great question, but I said, yes, I've used this model before, plus a few others.
Mhm.
So yeah, I get it. So then I'm like, don't worry about it. By the time she messaged me back, I'd already went to Walmart. I got a mini coffee pot, not a Keurig, because I'm like, I don't want to spend $70 on a
Right.
coffee
Yeah,
pot. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
need to. I bought a mini coffee pot, regular coffee pot, one of the 4 or 5 cup ones,
Uh-huh.
for $10.
Nice.
And you know what? It honestly is probably better, because I do consume a little bit of coffee throughout the day,
Mhm.
and I brought a ton of K cups that now the next place I'm in, actually, well, yeah, your place, the
Yeah.
next place after that, the next place after that, all of them regular coffee pots. I don't know when the next time I'm going to use Keurigs, but I had plenty, so that's all taken care of. So like my coffee's in good shape. So then on like Tuesday or whatever, and I don't know if you saw the pictures, but the way this place is set up, the door from what is considered to be the outside, like the hallway area, I say quote unquote, it's a condo, but they're set up like old like motels. So
Sure.
when you open the door, you walk outside,
Yeah.
and then the patio obviously faces the lake. So you walk into the bedroom. There's the bedroom, then there's a hallway, bathroom on the right. And you walk in, and then living room. It's small,
Sure.
ish.
Yeah.
But from the living room, you can see all the way through to the door if you're by the couch area. So I set my stuff up over here, the corner by the patio, blah blah blah. So I think it was Tuesday, and then 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. And I hear some rustling around upstairs. I'm like, they're probably building something up there. Just my luck, to make fucking noise while I'm working, But then, I'm on the phone and I'm just starting to leave a message. Okay. And someone's beating on my door. And it's like, I mean, not just knocking, I mean, boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Sheriff's department.
oh, yeah, like that,
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm sitting
I
there
know
trying to
that
leave
knock.
this. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, in my head, I'm trying to focus on my message because a message is maybe 10 or 15 seconds, right?
Right.
And I got to focus on this. This is a professional message I'm trying to leave. I'll figure out this fucking knob when I'm done and yell at this person, what the fuck you pounding on my door for? I'm leaving a message. I'm almost done. And they're beating on the door a couple of times, maybe 10 seconds worth of this stuff, not complete solid, but within that time frame. Then I start hearing, so there's a keypad. There's an electronic door, the keypad,
Yeah.
I start hearing the thing beep and then hear bzz, bzz. Somebody's opening the fucking door. And I'm like, what the fuck? So
Right.
I just finished the message. I pause. I stand up and this guy pokes in. He's like, pest control. Is anyone home? I'm like, what are you doing?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I'm with the pest control. I said, dude, I'm working. And he's like, but I'm just doing my job. I'm with pest control. I said, I understand that. But I said, you're sitting there beating on my door. And I said, then you just walk in? And he's like, well, I knocked. I said, for like 10 seconds, I said, I was on the phone. I'm leaving a message. I'm working. And he's like, well, are you the owner or are you just a renter? I said, I'm an Airbnb guest. He's like, well, the owner should have told you. I'm like, that's irrelevant. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm fucking pissed, And he's like, well, they should have told you, but I'll tell you what, we'll skip you. But I'm like, yes, you will. So it just fucking goes on. I'm like, you fucking moron. I'm like, I didn't say that part to him, but surprisingly, through that, I don't think I swore at him. I might have said, "What the fuck are you doing?" But I don't even think I swore at him. But there's one thing when somebody's pounding on your door and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have a talk into this motherfucker, right? Whoever this is, but never in your wildest dreams you think somebody's gonna pound on your door and then walk in, right?
Right.
I mean, and think about it. Even if because it wasn't like super early, but not super late. It doesn't even matter. Even if somebody would have been sleeping in that bedroom,
Right.
in 10 seconds, there's no fucking way I would have been able to like come to and answer the door before this motherfucker was walking in,
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. So I was so fucking irritated. But I didn't message the host or anything like that. I figure if he tells them and they deal with it, I'm not gonna complain. I like this place. It's a beautiful place. They've been wonderful. I mean, whatever. So they forgot about some fucking exterminator,
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
So
just
now you're overrun with rodents and it's fine.
well, and I get it. I mean, it could have been, with anything. It's by a fucking lake. I mean, I know. And as soon as I got left, and I was thinking about, I'm like, oh, that's right. When I was at the place in September, but I was there like, I think I was there Thursday through Monday or Wednesday through whatever it was. But I think they said it was a Tuesday. Now that I think about it, I'm like, God, when the exterminator comes around, I'm like, because they had I don't know, actually a sheet explaining, you need to let the exterminator come in. If it's here, it's at this time, blah, blah, blah. But there was no notes or anything about this here, so I didn't fucking know. So like you fucking moron. I'm just thinking, again, the guy was doing his job, and I'm sure he was just as surprised as I was, to see somebody standing there. But I'm like, oh, I was so fucking irritated, just so fucking irritated. But yeah, you know what? I got over it, you know,
Well, that's
but
good. Clearly.
it's, but you know, immediately with anything that happens, I know you think the same thing when something weird happens in your life. You're like, God, this would be a great topic.
That's right.
It's a great topic for the podcast, you know? So at least I got that much out of it, but
All right.
yeah, it was good. It was good. So, okay. Oh yeah. Craig Ferguson's book. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
was listening to more of that as I was coming down here. So, he was telling a story about a guy that had a terminal illness and was
Mm-hmm.
giving a lead. Okay.
Okay.
Basically getting the people drawn into a story, as Craig put it, to the point where they forgot that he was terminally ill. Okay, so
Hmm.
as the guy's telling the story, you know, it's like when he first walks up there, you know, I mean, I think he gave a little bit of background, or people knew him, whatever that it was. But I mean, this dude was like, he was like close to death type of thing, like weeks or months. I mean, you know, that sort of thing. So he
Right.
said then the guy talked about the fact that he had no problem. Or had no problems, except of course the fact that he was terminally ill.
Mm. Right.
and then
Yeah.
and then the guy that was giving the lead, said, was telling everyone else in the group. He said, "Be grateful for your problems." Okay, so,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, I'm like, "Fuck, man, I got to write that shit down because that's some fucking deep stuff." So, my friend Mike, how do you feel about that statement?
Being grateful about your problems. um, yeah, I understand it because if you have a problem, that means you have responsibility, and if you have responsibility, that means you have freedom. Ha ha ha!
Right?
Take that. Um, right. Grateful for your because it means you're engaged. It means you're a part of fucking life because part of life is problems. It means you're again engaged. That's the best way I could put it. Yeah, I'm grateful for my problems. I have problems. I also have solutions to those problems. I'm grateful for that too.
Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Be grateful for your problems. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even looking at it the other way, I mean that because this guy's problem is, you know, I mean, he's about fucking dead, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's the thing too, that the problems that we have, you know, in it reminded me of when people talk about, you know, oh, getting old sucks and this and that, blah blah blah, and it's like, really, when
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, it doesn't, you know. I mean, we all have. I've got limitations. I've talked about them even on here, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
recognizing my physical limitations,
Sure.
but I recognize them and I understand them. And there's things I don't do and won't do anymore, because I don't want to get fucking hurt.
Uh-huh.
You
Hi,
know?
Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Kathy. And it's not. Well, yeah. Okay. Hi, Kathy. Hi. but but on top of that too is that, you know, we have the good fortune, you know,
Mm.
of getting old, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
we could have been, both of us could have been, and easily should have been dead, maybe not
Mm-hmm.
14 years ago, but maybe 13 years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have made it another year, maybe you would have, maybe 6 months,
Right.
3 months, you know. So,
Yeah.
and you know what, I just thought about this. I I'm in a fucking beautiful place right now. I now have the freedom to move around and work where I want and that sort of thing. So should I be grateful that this motherfucker knocks on my door? I'm grateful that
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yes, you
You know,
should.
I mean,
Right?
so if I was sitting in Indiana, no motherfucker's gonna be, you know, or even in Wisconsin years ago, no motherfucker's gonna be knocking on
Mm-hmm.
my door going, exterminator.
Right. Yeah.
Popping his
Keeping the
head,
place clean.
yeah, popping his head into my doorway, you know. So, okay, yeah, look at that. I didn't even plan that this would be the next thing, and I'd have to be grateful for that fucking Yahoo. But, okay, fine, I'm grateful for it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just when he said that, you know, I was thinking about it just again two different ways. You know, the fact of the, once again, you know, terminally ill, and the guy's got no problems except for, well, I'm dying, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that we have the, I don't know, we have the ability to, we have problems because we're living, and that's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. It was like, I remember 7 years ago when I turned 50, right? People were like, oh, you freaked out or whatever. I was like, fuck no, man. I wasn't supposed to make it this far.
right, right,
I've got no problem with turning 50. Just like in 3 years, I'm not going to have a problem turning 60. I'm going to be like, hey, fuck, man. Again, I wasn't supposed to be here.
right,
So, no, I have no problems with getting older. Absolutely not.
right. Yeah, and the last birthday that I had an issue with was when I turned 30, and it didn't click with me until, I don't know, a month or so afterwards. I was kind of in a funky mood, and the point behind that was I had these life goals in my head, about,
Right.
figuring. I mean, I got married young, figured married, I have a couple of kids, we have a house by this time and this and that. And at 30, I mean, I had one child, but I was divorced, living in a
Mm-hmm.
fucking apartment. I can't buy a house right now, all these different things, so it was just that I had set up these, and they weren't even unrealistic expectations, but they were
Mm.
expectations in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I put too much weight on them, at that time
Right.
frame, which at this point, I mean, granted, what I'm doing now was a goal, but I had the patience. I didn't have the patience all the time because I just wanted to do it, but I had the patience, to wait for it, and I'm glad I waited for it, because I let I trusted the process. I let things,
Mm-hmm.
just happen. I didn't force things. I mean, yeah, I'm actually, financing some shit right now to pay for all the things I'm doing. But I've got a job right now that, I know that I can. It's not a problem. That the shit that I booked so far. And by the way, I'm booked through the end of May already. I just booked that trip on the way out of Texas, so I'm staying
All right.
Branson for a week. That time. But so same thing, I got some things financed. I paid for some, but not all of it, but I had I had the patience, so
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, I mean, 40, I was still drinking. I mean, 40 was so much fucking fun. That was when all the cousins got together, Kathy and Mark said. I mean, we had a great time. We had just a wonderful time. Granted, we were
Mm-hmm.
drunk from, I mean, the entire weekend. Um,
Sure.
but it was so much fun. It's back to one of those times, a classic example of, one of these drinking events that, man, I'll never forget that, and I'll never look back at that with any type of regret or disgust or anything, because it was a
Mm-hmm.
fucking wonderful weekend, with family,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, other than that, fuck, I don't give a fuck about age anymore. I don't. I just
Mm-mm.
don't. You know.
Right.
And when do we get all our discounts? Wasn't it supposed to be a 55, or is it now 60? Or oh,
Oh, I mean, I think we could start getting them now.
right. There
Yeah,
was
I don't want them, but I think I could probably get them if I wanted to. I don't care.
fuck, man. If somebody was going to give me a discount because I'm 55, I'll take the fucking discount.
All right.
I'd take it in a heartbeat. But there was some place I was looking is I forget even where I was looking. Again, Airbnb stuff. Looking around this nice little community, and then I'm reading, because I don't know. I check out a few things and I read the description. And
Mhm.
it says blah blah blah. It's like, oh yeah, this is a senior community. I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's why it looks so
Mm.
nice. And then you know what it says? It says at least one of the residents has to be at least 55 years old. And I'm like, oh fuck.
Ooh.
I'm like, I actually qualify. It's relatively inexpensive. It's nice. I'm looking at it, I'm like, fuck me. I'm like,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we are grandfathers.
right. Yeah, but I'm like, okay. So, I'm sure it'd be quiet, in a place like that.
Right. You
All
just got to
right.
deal with all the weed smoke.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I got a nice little. I walked out of the patio the other night, and literally, I could have sworn that there was somebody that had been standing on this patio smoking weed.
Mhm.
That's how thick it was. So it must have just been the way whoever was smoking just came in and just stuck
Mhm.
right in there. I'm like,
Right.
because I slid the doorbell. I'm like, holy fuck. Just like cutting through it to try to walk out the door. But yeah, maybe 2 nights in a row I smelled it. But anyhow, so
Mhm.
grateful for the problems. Obviously, we're all we understand that point, right?
We do.
Okay.
Yes, I am grateful for my problems as much as I'm grateful for the solutions.
Right. Let me just, I'm just going to pick a random one here. All right. So, keep it simple. Help me see
Mm-hmm.
pain not as a personal defect, but as a part of life. Did you ever
Mm-hmm.
view pain, you, Mike, did you ever
Yes.
view pain as a personal defect, whether it was before or after you got sober?
No.
All right, next topic. Were you ready?
Right. No, I mean, the only thing I ever used pain for inappropriately was as an excuse to get loaded, to be a victim. Yeah, no. Right. I mean, I know some people maybe would look at having pain, accepting pain as a weakness.
Right.
But again, like the reading said, man, that's part of life. And as we're grateful for our problems, I'm grateful for the pain too. Because again, it's part of life. That means I'm feeling something. That means I'm doing something I'm a part of, and that is part of life. So, no,
Right.
yeah, other than, right, again, when I used it inappropriately as an excuse to be a victim and to, yeah, oh, I gotta get loaded, man. I hurt emotionally.
Right.
Yep.
Well, and that's, honestly, that's the way I thought about that was like I don't, I didn't, and the same thing either. Sometimes when I write these things down, it's like either, it's a thinking moment or it's something where I'm like, I don't get how that would be. But
Mm,
yeah, the victim part of it, I get that part, is that if somebody is in pain, using that as an excuse, right? To get
right.
loaded or to take it out on other people. You don't understand how I feel,
Exactly.
yeah, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I'm gonna fucking lash out at somebody because I'm in pain. Um,
Right.
no, I don't want to do
No.
that. If I'm in pain, I want somebody to help me a little bit to talk through something, if nothing
Sure.
else. Maybe not,
Right.
not fix it, but
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
And maybe just sit there and fucking feel it because, it's because, quite possibly, well, let's see. Look for my part in it. Why do I have this pain?
Right,
Hmm.
right,
What did I do that is causing me this pain? And if I'm going to have some part of it one way or another. That if this program's taught me anything, it's I have a part in everything.
right,
The joy and the pain and the sadness and the happiness and whatever. I have a part in all of it. And so if I'm hurting for some reason, why? And then so that way I can identify that and stop fucking doing it. Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that.
any 1950s or 1960s variety show. Doctor, it hurts when I do
Yes.
this.
Yes. Well, then don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that then. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's a good point though. Is that I mean that's all part of it. It's just that I don't know, everything that you were talking about too. Being part of life and it just everyone
Yep.
being able to deal with it. And not, I mean, the main thing is I go back to what you said too. It's just not playing that victim is, I don't know,
Hmm.
yeah, to being a part of. And life is, I was going to say life sucks sometimes, and that I don't mean that in a
Mm.
negative way, but there's parts
No.
of life that suck every once in a while. It's
Yes, they
just,
do.
I mean, if either one of us, I don't know, at least for me, if I went through life thinking that, man, this better not ever suck, I'm going to be really
Uh-huh.
disappointed. How many, what
Exactly.
percentage, what percentage of the time? A lot, right?
Yeah, that's just it, man. Yeah, right. Let's just try to make it so we lower that percentage. That's kind of the whole point of this thing,
Right.
right? Lower that percentage of the suckiness. Life sucks better sober. I read that on a T-shirt somewhere.
Right. Or again, I mean, find the gratefulness to it. It's a learning thing
Mm-hmm.
too. If you are hurt by
Right.
somebody or something, there is something to learn from that. I would say that
Mm-hmm.
100% of the time you can learn, from, let's say, if you're, I don't know, if you're in Paris or something like that, you walk down a
Mm-hmm.
waterfall, and you fall and break your wrist, and you're in
Right.
pain. You probably learn from that, right? Hello, Kathy.
I would think so. Hi.
No, but I mean anything like that. I mean we can learn from these things. It's a learning experience. It doesn't have to be a negative. Find the positive part of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Find
Yeah.
out how not to fucking walk that way.
Yeah, didn't we talk about the nut punch? Was that last week or the week
Right,
after that?
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I got another one. If I could walk that way, I wouldn't need the talcum powder. Hey-oh.
Right. That's another one of Mike and I say that to each other all the time. Hey, walk this way. If I can walk this way.
If I could
Again.
walk that way, I wouldn't need the talcum powder. What the hell?
Right.
Right.
Right. Exactly. All right. So this one is just happens to be right above, and this was from A Day at a Time.
Uh-huh.
The reading was talking about relapse. This was recently, I think. When was it recently? It was going through all the relapse talk, I think. You don't read A Day at a Time. Never mind.
I haven't done that one.
Okay, so Christ, this could have been months ago. Then I don't know. But
All
see,
right.
the reading was talking about relapse and the fact that the thought precedes the action, which we've talked about. The
Mm-hmm.
reason I wrote it down is, kind of it might be worth a discussion. Once again, there could be people out there that don't really understand what that means, and what can we do or what do we do to prevent relapse. So the first part of it is the act of relapse, physically taking a drink or using a drug,
Mm-hmm.
is there. It's a fact. We've seen, we've heard, we've experienced, through other people, if nothing
Mm-hmm.
else, that the thought precedes the action. So let's start there. What does that mean?
That means you have let your disease convince you that you can handle it. Um, Basically.
Right.
Yes, because the thought is, we start lying to ourselves and we start believing those lies that somehow we can handle it. I mean, we've talked about plenty of times. Do we have the thoughts? Of course we do. I have the thoughts, not all the time, but I have them. And but I truly I look at them honestly today when I have those thoughts, and I go, okay, man, you take that drink. Then what?
Right.
Play that tape through, man. Um, yeah, and it always I thankfully have practiced that enough now that I get there very quickly. Now that's not going to do anything, you know. I I I don't. I seriously do not want to drink or use a drug today. I have the thoughts where, wouldn't it, just the thought. I can't even I can't explain how the thought works anymore, which is kind of nice. Um,
Right.
the obsession has been lifted, and um, yeah, it's like, no, no. I mean, I know where it's going to take me, and I don't want to be there. I'm happy today, the way I am. I have the thought, yes, a drink would be nice. Yes, I have the thought. I'd still love to smoke a joint. Don't get me wrong. I fucking loved pot, man. And I love the feeling, and and there's really, I know there's no repercussions, but I also know that I'm a full blown alcoholic and a full blown junkie, and I can't just smoke a joint. It's not going to be enough.
Right.
I'm going to get there and I'm going to go, okay, this is great. Now what? Now I want fucking more,
Right.
because that's the way I am. So, no, it's not worth it, man. It's just anything I put into myself that's going to change my mood or my mind or my emotions or whatever externally like that is not going to be good for me, because it's going to lead me to other things, and other things are not good for me either. Yes, they feel great in the moment. I know that. I've proven that to myself over and over and over again. They feel fucking wonderful in the moment. But I am an addict and an alcoholic, and it's never enough, And the cool thing is, sitting here right now, sober, is enough.
Right.
It really is. Yeah. It's just enough. I've cleaned all the garbage out, and this right now in this moment is enough. And it's fucking cool, man.
Right.
And there's no substance that's going to make it better. I mean, it will for a minute. I know that it will. It's going to
Right.
make it much better. It's fantastic. But then it's not. And I need more. And no, this is enough today. And that's fucking cool.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and that's I was thinking about actually you were just talking about that the other day again with the people, sitting by the pool and all that stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know, sitting around a pool is fine, but sitting around a
Mm.
pool and having drinks years ago, or fuck, I mean, Kathy and Mark had a boat. We used to go out on the boat and we docked towards this
Right.
thing or whatever. And I mean, that was a whole day. That was an event, sitting out in the sunshine at a concert, at a festival.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all
Mm-hmm.
those were fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that, in okay, even now, I could go since I'm a hiker now,
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just kind of gonna laugh every time I can say that. Since I'm a hiker now, right? Did we talk about
Right.
that? So, but I mean, I could easily, I could take a flask, I could take a 6 pack of beer, I could get a backpack and my
Mm.
leader hose in it, I could take a walk, and
Right.
I could sit down in on a just like I did. I was down and I sat on this fallen tree that was this area where I was able to get because the tide was not tide, but the water was recessed enough, and I just sat down
Mm-hmm.
and I was taking some pictures and shit. Now I didn't think about it then, but I could have done that. I could have sat down there in the sunshine and the warmth and whatever, and drank a fucking beer. That would have been wonderful. Okay, but you know
Mm-hmm.
what? What made me think about it is what you just said. What I did the other day and what I'm going to do tomorrow or Sunday or whatever is
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be enough. I don't
Yeah.
I don't need the booze will not add anything to it. Anything to that experience. It'll literally take away from it because I'll sit there and I'll have one, then I'll have
Mm.
two, and I'll have seven, and then I
Mm-hmm.
got to get the fuck out of this fucking cavern,
Right. Yeah.
and I'm
And
going
then
to
you're being
die.
humped by a bear.
you know, or I'm just going to fall and I'm going to
Yeah.
die.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to the relapse thing too. That on days like that and in moments like that and thoughts like that, if what happens, I guess to answer that whole relapse question in my mind is that if I stop doing all the things I do every day, I get up in the morning and I do my readings and I do my prayers and I have this process, and
Mm-hmm.
every Friday we get on here, we do this. When I'm in Cleveland, I go to a meeting, and when I have a problem, I talk to my friend Mike or I talk to somebody else, or
Mm.
so
Right.
I'm in this groove. I have this literally this program and this way of living that was given to us, that tells me what to do next if I have an issue. But if I
Mm-hmm.
stop, let's take out a reading or two, stop doing my prayers, go, yeah, fuck the meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this podcast is
Right.
kind of a pain in the ass every once in a while,
Yep.
which it is because
Yep.
the technology or whatever it is. Other than that, I love this, but I mean, yes, it can
Mm-hmm.
be a pain in the ass. I get it.
Right.
You
You
know,
saw my face when we came back. Right.
right, right. But we're here because we realize what this does for us and what could do for other people. But so little
Mm-hmm.
by little, for everyone out there, we start taking those things away. And then we forget that we have a program of living and a program of action. We've got all these
Mm-hmm.
different tools in place. And then it's not even so much as saying, fuck it. We're just like, well, I'm going to go do this now because I'm not doing this. So, like you
Right.
said, I can handle it now. I'm good. I got this thing.
Uh-huh. I got it.
Fuck
Right.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then yeah, and then this isn't enough
Right,
because you're not doing what you need to do to make it enough.
right,
Yeah. So then you need something else. And we know how that turns out.
right. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. And same thing. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I've talked about it on a regular basis. The simplest thing about not forgetting the past and or not regretting the
Mm-hmm.
past and not wanting to shut the door on
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't want to forget, regret, shut any doors. I need to keep all that shit out in the open because I need to get
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable when I think about the pain I cause people or myself. So I
Yep.
need to get uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
when I think about all the fucked up things that I did, and the um, maybe what could have happened or what didn't happen, because of who I was. And
Mm-hmm.
man, if I forget any of that, I'm in fucking trouble.
Yep. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so one last thing, and it's actually along the same line. Not really on the relapse part, but so there's a podcast that I listen to, and I'm not going to mention him. He's a good dude, but I'm not going to mention him because who knows? He might not want to be promoted on this thing.
All right.
He's got a good podcast, got a great followers. I respect the shit out of him. I love all his guests. He's been doing about the same amount of time as us, but on a far bigger level than us. But
Mm-hmm.
no regrets. I'm not pissed off at him. The guy's he's good at what he does.
Sure.
But he talks about every once in a while, and he says it this same way every single time. He says, or it's a fact that very, very, very. He always says very, 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 or it's
Mm,
very, very, very unusual for somebody to get sober and stay sober on their first try. And
mm-hmm.
I every time he says that, I'm like, wait a second, but then I thought about that. And it was a question, and I know we kind of joke about it, a little bit, but
Mm,
am is I'm proud of the fact that this is my first run at this thing, so far.
right.
But
Mm-hmm.
is the pride that I feel, and then I start questioning myself. I don't want to be too, when we
Mm,
talked about this, the prideful part being proud of, could that be
right.
dangerous for me to be too proud? I know you'd be the first one to say, hey, settle down there, boy.
I
you know,
was just about to.
yeah, which you haven't done that yet, but so I don't know. I just started kind of saying, okay, it could be a dangerous, slippery slope, right? If I handle it wrong.
Oh, yeah, exactly. If you handle it wrong. And I mean, the guy's absolutely right. It is very, very, very unusual. It's also very, very, very unusual for anyone in this day and age never to have taken drugs, only fucking drank. Oh, you're fucking weirdo, man.
Thank you.
You're an anomaly.
Thank you.
You're an anomaly. You are. And yeah, whatever. Right. And and I guess there's something to be proud of for that. I don't know. Yeah, the drug part, not really, because you're an idiot.
Right.
But yes, yes. It's your first go at this thing, and clearly, a little more than a week shy of 14 years. Yes, that is a very unusual thing.
Right.
Very, very, very. Uh, but so what?
Right.
Nobody said it was fucking impossible. Nobody said that it can't be done. I mean, clearly, Bill Wilson didn't get it on his first try.
Right.
Uh, Dr. Bob didn't get it on his first try. I fucking didn't get it on my first try. You did.
Right.
Cool.
So far.
All right.
Yet.
Yeah,
There's the
right.
yets
So
and the so
far, but
fars. Right. Yeah.
absolutely. Right. Yeah, shit. I know this may not be my last time. I'm pretty sure it is, but it is for today. That's for
Right.
goddamn sure. And yeah, yeah, you could have a little pride, I guess. I personally I would just go, well, yes, I'm a little unique, but so fucking what?
Right.
You know.
Right.
Okay.
And
And
that's the thing, and it's been brought up, and we brought it up on here. But I mean, you've been around me for 14 fucking years, and
mhm.
like I say, we joke about it sometimes more. Well, I'll throw my egotistical spin to it or whatever. It's the same as the 4-day thing,
Mhm.
like I just did a little bit ago.
Right.
When you have more time, but that's just
Mhm.
fucking around.
That's right. I
But
know.
I mean, I'm happy of where I am in my sobriety. The fact that it's my first run is
Mhm.
relatively unimportant. It actually is. It's
Mhm.
completely unimportant. I'm proud of the fact that when that I had the opportunity when I did, because I was able to live, and the fact that I've held on to that opportunity. But it
Mhm.
really doesn't matter, like you said. So what,
Mm.
So I mean, I'm aware of it. I'm
Yeah,
proud
right.
of
I mean, well,
what I
yeah,
have and
so
what I've
it's my
attained. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right. So it's my, whatever, I don't know, 10th or I have no idea. I could not fucking
Right.
tell you exactly. I could probably sit down and figure it out. But again, doesn't fucking matter. Today matters. This is the time that matters. So
Right.
yeah, whether it's your first or your 14th or your 112th, man, are you fucking sober today? All right then. Good for
Right.
you. And good for me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right, and I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And he said it just a number of times. It was just like I said, it just happened to be the other day, and I was probably listening to that same deal on the way down here. And again, it's getting close to an anniversary, and I get all these that this is the last 3 months at least before an anniversary every year, and definitely the last 30 days before an anniversary. It's always really reflective times for me. Things I pay attention to things more. Sometimes things, pop
Mm.
into my head a little bit differently. And I don't know why, but I'm grateful for that too, because maybe it's kind of I don't know, it's just a re a spark, a new spark or whatever it is, kind of regenerating myself for a new year. I don't know what
Uh-huh.
the fuck it is, but It's not a bad thing, but it just I seem to be a little bit more in tune with what's going on with my sober shit. And I think about it and I question to an extent, but also try to check myself too and make sure that I got my shit in order. you know.
And that's pretty much what we fucking do 12 months a year. 365, 366 this
right.
year, days of the year. Right. Yeah. Check
Right.
yourself, be aware. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's what we do. It's how we fucking live our lives today.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. I think that was it. I had there was a news story that came out that had nothing to do with sobriety, but we could talk about it. Talk about it next time. We may have a guest coming up here shortly in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, it's been a while, but if we have a guest, cool. You
Ooh.
guys get to listen to a guest for maybe half of the episode, but if not, fuck it. Come back and listen to us. Some of y'all have said that you enjoy just listening to us. So for those of you, cool. And other than that, what do you think, Mike? We done?
Cool.
You gonna run us out of
All
here?
right. We getting out of here?
Yep, we're done.
Yes.
It's your turn.
Yes, we are. We are done. All right, kiddies. Well, all right, kiddies. Thanks for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody that you did it. Guess what, kids? It's time. It is that time. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
There must have been. I heard you laugh. There must have been some sort of long delay in there, so I'm guessing that's what it was. But it seemed to be on my end. It seemed to be going okay. I could hear a little lag, but all in all, I think we're choosing a good time to be done. So, since I don't know if we're delaying or not, I'm just going to say, Mike, I love you, brother, and goodbye.
I love you too. See y'all next week. Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever. Now it is